Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for another exciting industry event here at Nova. As always, we'd like to extend our appreciation to our sponsors, Dell and NVIDIA. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to bring you this amazing content like the one you're about to experience. My name is Mauricio Hoffman, and before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about where you can get some of closed caption. So if you need that, please head over to the Gnomon Facebook or YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to these channels and follow us on social media for future event announcements. So today we have a very special presentation for you. We're very honored to welcome game animator Arthur Munoz, who will break down his approach to creating dynamic, immersive fight sequences for games. You'll get to see his animation process from concept to polished final animation, using a custom Spider-Man sequence, along with behind-the-scenes work from Prince of Persia and No Rest for the Wicked. Throughout the stream, drop your questions in the chat and we'll share them with Arthur at the end of the presentation. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to our speaker for today's event. Arthur Munoz is a freelance French animator with over 15 years of experience specializing in combat animation. He has worked on dozens of games, including Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, and No Rest for the Wicked, focusing on creating fluid and engaging combat animations that enhance the player experience. Currently, Arthur is working on No Rest for the Wicked, applying his expertise in combat animation to bring dynamic and responsive action to life. Arthur, welcome to the stream.
Hey, hello. Thanks for the introduction. I'm really happy to be here and also like super happy like to talk about game animation for the next 2 hours. So maybe I can talk about what will be the next 2 hours and we can start also like.
Fantastic.
So like first I will like to introduce my work and my career like for the next 20 minutes like to just show like the last work I did for different studios. And for the next part, I will introduce some breakdowns of different combat animation I did for No Rest for the Wicked and Prince of Persia and other like freelance work. And after that, I think I will do like this demo live of animating directly into Maya. And after like everything, like I think we have like a Q&A session, like to respond to people if they have questions and everything. So maybe I can start and I will share my screen, I think. Let me share my screen. Okay, do you see it? So I will start like introducing my work with my last showreel, my animation showreel. It's like all my work like together with nice music. Like this, everyone can see what my work is about. And then I will, after this video, I will talk step by step into like my career and stuff I did lately. So let's go. Okay, so that was the showreel with my latest work I did last year, with other stuff I did previously, and I will start like explaining like where I started. Like before, like 15 years ago, I started at Spider's Game in Paris, where I spent 12 years animating games for them. Like it was mostly action RPG, and I was a game animator for a long time at this studio. And I was also like a rigging, doing like cinematic animation, gameplay animation, and like a lot of different things at the studio, because Spider's Games was at that time like a very small studio. Like there was like around 15 people, and like I did almost like 6 projects with them. So it's like one project every 2 years. It was really like a nice experience for me, because when you're like working in this kind of small studio, like you're really like learning a lot with other departments and with like really different people from game design, sound design, or like 3D modelers and everything. Like you're always like sharing and learning from them. So it was really like a learning experience for me, like during these 12 years. And yeah, like you can see, like there was a lot of creatures animation and combats. So this was like very cool for me, because I was very young, and at that time, like I really wanted to do video games for this kind of games. So it was really like a nice opportunity to work on these crazy creatures. And yeah, I also like love Spider's Game, because they are always like trying to find cool and interesting worlds to create. So I was like, from one project I was animating like fantasy creatures, and the next year I will like animate like a crazy sci-fi stuff. So it was really like the best experience for like a young animator like me. And yeah, after like 12 years, I felt that it was like time to move on, and that's where I started to share my animation on social media, like this kind of clips like this. And just after that, I was like contacted by Super Studio, it's like a freelance outsourcing studio that was like looking for animators for working on a new project. So that's where I switched to this project. This project was I was working with Super Studio, but I was like working with this studio called Lightspeed Studio in California. And like I was really like starting the pre-production of this project, like from the beginning with the animation director. And it was really like a nice opportunity for me, because it was my first time working on a AAA game, because like Spider's Game was more like low budget games. Even if we were like doing like crazy quality work, it was like not like a high budget production. And for this one, it was really like I spent like 2 years on this project doing pre-production, and it was really like a really cool experience for me, because I learned a lot with the animation director at the time. It was a lot about action sequences, and a lot about like making like gameplay look really responsive and cool. And it was a lot about finding the right tone, the right animation direction during the pre-production. And it was also like a lot about keyframe animation, and that's why it was so interesting for me. I cannot talk a lot about this project, because we only have like this announcement trailer for now. So like I cannot explain what I did exactly like during this pre-production, but I hope like there will be like more trailer soon in the future. So, but like I did like really like spend like a good moment on this project, and it was especially like my first experience as a remote animator, because since this project I'm only working remote from France, and it's really like a nice way of working now, because it's really flexible and you can really like work from from every place like this. So then after like the last Sentinel project, I was reached out by the lead animator from Moon Studio. Moon Studio is known by making the Ori games, Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori the Will of the Wisp. And they contacted me like for being a game animator on their team. And at that time, like I didn't know what they were doing. And when I discovered like the game during the interview, like it was like pretty obvious that I needed to be part of this project, because as you can see, like the game is beautiful, the art style and the animation style is really unique, and I was really attracted by this project, because there is like this is full of creatures and like and cool warriors fighting, and like you will see like soon how the game is behaving. Like it's like a top view game. It's also like an RPG, but the camera looks like a Diablo game. But the game mechanics, it's more like fighting like a Souls game. And it was like I'm still working at Moon Studio for now. Like I'm full-time animating on this project since 2 years ago. And as you can see, like the game is a lot about combat animation, and to have like the really cool feeling when you fight, that you will really hit your enemies and you're really like having this satisfying feeling when you're fighting. I can show you like different clips from this game, because we have a nice teaser trailer, because in 1 month we will be releasing like a new update for the game, because the game is in early access for now. So we are still developing this game, and we are still improving the project, like always like adding new enemies, new bosses, adding new like weapons for the player. And it's always like it's really like a nice project to work on, because you have like a lot of crazy talented people working on this project, and everyone is like very passionate about making like a cool game. As you can see, like it's really gross and but cool. It's like the next introduction for our next boss for the next update. And we did like some cool animation for this big guy that you can like you will see it next month. And also like we are revealing like some new areas for the game. And like Moon Studio is like very cool about game animation, because it's all keyframe animation. So it's really into making animation by hand, and to push like the style to the maximum, like to really push the extreme poses, to really have this unique animation style. And the cinematics, like we have like also like a lot of cinematic animators on the team, just to push like we have like a lot of story inside the game. And I can show you like some samples of my work. So when I started at Moon Studio 2 years ago, I was a lot into players animation. The game needed like a lot of special attacks for some of the weapon. This one, it's about the great sword. So like it's like a heavy sword. And it was like a lot about doing research about how you can fight with a great sword, how to be unique, and to use a weapon differently, like the other weapon, because you have a lot of different weapons in the game. and you have like to do combo animation and like, these special attacks that you can launch during the game. And I can show you like the next enemy and the next weapon. This one is like the gauntlet weapon, so you will fight with your fists. So we needed like to add new ways of fighting. So we added like kicks and other cool moves that you can use like for special attacks. So you will see like a nice one, this one. So it's like a Hadouken. And we have like a lot of different new enemies, like these mutated guys. And I did a lot of combo animation for this new weapon, with a lot of reference from other games or from other movies. I was like a lot more looking at different stuff. And then like all you have seen before, like it was my full-time job as a game animator. But now I can show you my freelance work. This is the other side of my game animation life, like because I love so much animation that sometimes I take freelance work, and that's where like game studio are reaching out to me like to make like a specific task. For Prince of Persia, it was doing like all the special move for the player, or like the big animation sequences between bosses and the player. So if you like if you avoid this attack or not, like the snake will do like a different animation, and the player also like will do like a different animation. So it was a cool freelance work for me, because Prince of Persia was really like one of the first game I played when I was a kid. So like to really like try to animate and to make cool move like this, it was really like a really nice stuff. I will let you watch it again just for the pleasure. And I'm mostly like doing this part-time job like in my evenings or in my weekends. It's just about like having a fresh like new animation task like from my regular job. This one was with Airship Syndicate. I did some freelance work for rigging and animating creatures for this game called Wayfinder. It's also an RPG, like a co-op game. So it was a lot about animating these big monsters with this awesome art style from Airship Syndicate. Everything is really like beautiful, and it was really like you cannot say no when someone asks you like to animate these crazy models. This one is like a giant boss. Like I also like did this game called The Last Face, and The Last Face is a pixel art game. It's made by a small team, and I was responsible of doing all the 3D modeling, rigging, and animation for the bosses, like for 3 bosses on this game. So like this, like the pixel artist was able to it's like rotoscoping, like you will pixelate my animation just to have like the best reference. The same for the player animation. I did some combos. So you will see like with this video like how to pixelize your 3D animation. Like everything needs to be like with like specific constraint for having the best view for the pixel animator, like to pixelize your 3D model. So you don't need like to be really like a well 3D modeled, because everything will be pixelated at the end. But at least you have like the volume of the skeleton or the volume of the character that will be easy to easy to use for the pixel guy. Also, like I can show you like some cool animation I did lately last year for a game called Shot One Fighters. It's a fighting game, and they asked me like to do like some grab animation for this game, and it was really like a really cool task because I really love fighting games, and it was really like a right time for me like to test like cool moves, and I was really free like to make what I want. So especially for the long one, this one was really long to make, but I was really like having fun. So I was like doing everything from having two characters and I like adding like a little camera animation on top just to feel like more powerful. And I can show you like lately I also did some boss animations for this game from Motion Twin. They are well known for Dead Cells, but now they are doing like this game called Windblown. It's like a co-op roguelike game, and it's really like fast paced, and you're like playing these little animals with weapons, and you have to choose your powers and to chain your powers to be like the more powerful that you want. It's really like an intense game, and it's always like a one of the guy of the team. He was working with me at Spider's game for 12 years. So when he asked me like if I wanted to do like some animation for his game, like I was really hyped because I think this is a really fun game, and it's also like in early access for now. So they are still like adding new stuff, and maybe I will do like another round of animation soon, but I don't know. So you can see like you can play with 3 players, and it's like a big boss battles. And with all these projects, like they are all different, so that's why it's super refreshing for me like to work on this project, because it's always like cool like to jump into like something like realistic with like super dark vibes, and then you will go to this colorful game and add like this super cartoony animation. So it's kind of cool to do like a different kind of animation style and different art style also. This one is like a personal animation I did for my workshop, because since last year I'm starting to do workshop, like live workshop. I'm doing like 3 days workshop where I'm talking with like 20 animators that will also like do some animation with me, and like giving them like feedbacks, and we are like doing reviews, and I will talk about game animation, speaking about animation concepts, like I will analyze game animation from other games, and etc. So it's really like cool, and I can show you like what they did from last October. This is the last this is from the animators that were with me during the workshop. So every animator was able like, to do one animation, and for 3 days they were like pushing their animations to be the best, and I was helping them to improve the animations and just to learn new stuff and new workflows. And it was really cool seeing them like doing this cool stuff. And I will probably like do like another round this year, but I don't know yet when. So yeah, this is my quick introduction about my career and all I've done. And if you have like any question about that, let me know. Mauricio, like do we have like a question for now, or?
Let's just save the questions until the end of the presentation. I'm keeping track
Yeah,
of,
okay.
of the questions here.
Okay. So let's go to the next part. So I will talk about the breaking down some of my work. because like when you're animating, it's a lot about finding the animation direction at first. It's a lot about planning your work. It's a lot about brainstorming and finding the right tone. It's about finding the best animation style sometimes to set up some rules around like what you can do and what you cannot do, like for cartoony animation or like realistic animation, you cannot use the same constraints or rules. So I will show you like different animation style in this list. And also it's all about creating the process of creating animation. So I will start like very simple. This is some animation I did for a game with friends, and we were like looking for doing like turn-based RPG, like a Japanese RPG game, like with one character is attacking another character, and we were like looking like what kind of, since I was not aware of how you can do this kind of game, like in terms of pipeline and production, we were looking at how to split the animation list and what do you need for doing like this kind of game. So first of all, like for me, it was more about like using simple shapes just to be aware like what my character will do, what will be my composition for the camera, and what's the needs, like what will be the needs for this game. So like for this simple example, you will see like two capsules fighting each other, and you will already like feel the animation style, like how fast a character can be like to attack. Do you have to wait a lot? Is it responsive enough? And it's a lot about like asking this question really like in the beginning of the pre-production, and not spending too much time animating, because sometimes you will spend a lot of time animating and it will be like a waste of time. And I really love like using like these simple shapes because it's really like simple and it's really quick to do. I think it's like one day you will take a day like to do this, like just to rig simple shapes and animate them, putting some camera work behind. Because I can show you like the next phase. It's about like finding the animation style for a game. So this one I made this prototyping animation for a Spiders game. At the time we were like doing like a pre-production for the game called Steel Rising. It's like a kind of a Souls-like game where like you have like third-person view. But we were looking like what will be the weapon for the character, what will be the skills of the player, what will be like the hit reaction for the enemy, and can you like destroy your enemy, like can you like split the character in half, or like like to just like ask question. And when you're animating, you will show it to the team, and it will open new question. It will create like a brainstorming around what you're doing. So it's always like nice to open the work like this. And also like it's creating like a benchmark for the animation. So this animation will be maybe like the best quality that we can have for the game, especially if you're like working like this. You will see like if it's fitting the production and the pipeline. Because if you're doing this animation in maybe like a week, and you need to do like I don't know, like 200 animation like this, you will need to see if it's fitting your budget, or if you need to hire new animators and etc. Like for your production, it's a lot of question in pre-production. Then I can show you like some animation I did for No Rest for the Wicked, and it's showing you like what's the process of animating from start to finish. So you can see like this one is like a block. We call it like a blocking animation. It's like just putting some keyframe into your animation just to look like this. Like you see that it's missing a lot of frames, but you see the intention behind, and you see what will be the end. Like you have the final result now, so you can see like this is the end result of the previous animation you saw. and you can see like everything is like we are like always creating animation by iteration. So at first you will create something, but like let me start over because I think it's better like to start here, because when you're starting like to create like those animation, at first you need to really brainstorm about what will be your animation sets. So I will show you like the video reference that I used to create the Great Sword animation for No Rest for the Wicked. So I really like I like to spend some time in the beginning, like to really like doing some research about what I will be doing for the next month. So you really need to like to spend some time just to do your research and to learn how to. It's really like a learning like something like you will look a lot of documentaries on YouTube, and you will maybe like take like a stick in your garden and trying to use it as a great sword and see how you can manage like to have like some big sword like this. And also like I will like you can see like some video reference from other games, because you need also like to be inspired by other games or movies and see what they have done with this kind of weapon and what can be like the constraint. Like you can see me like on my garden like with a bamboo stick, and then like it's a lot about trying new stuff and like doing your blockings in your software. And I like to show you like this guy, because this guy is like a good reference, but it's not a good reference for great sword animation. It's a great reference about the weight animation for great sword. Like when I'm using this video reference, I'm only using this for the weight. Like I will see like how this guy is like using this great sword, like seems very heavy like for this guy, like because he seems like so skinny. And same for this one, like the sword like so big, like you see like the tip of the weapon is like touching the ground every time. So I will use it like as a reference. Like he's also like using his shoulder a lot, like to use it like this. And same, like it's very easy to understand the mechanics behind this weapon like this. And every time you will look at these references, like you will like kind of mix all these references together, like to have like the best mindset when you start your animation. So that's why when you see like the end results, like it's all about animating, like you will feel the weight and you will feel like everything is like hard to pull and really like taking time, and you need like to have like this cool timing, like just to have like the weight in your animation. So yeah, I think like it's also like that's why you can feel it in the end, because the video reference from this guy like lifting the big sword on his roof. And that's all the animation I did for the great sword, but I also like did like double daggers or short sword, gauntlets and wands. Like lately I did a lot of wands. So you can even look at Harry Potter for doing wands, but it was not really like a unique way of using wands. So it's also like to find your own style for the game. And sometimes it takes time, like because you really need to doing this research. It's like especially like this one is really like unique. So I can show you like this kind of process of doing game animation. It's a lot about making iteration. And as you can see, like you have like kind of 3-step on this animation. Because at Moon Studio, we are a lot talking about this process. It's like, we call it L1, L2, L3 pass. L1 pass, it's a lot about, let me isolate these parts. It's a lot about having like the ideation behind the animation, just to be sure that everyone on the team is like okay about what you're doing. Do not spend too much time on some idea that will be like not validated at the end. So it's like putting a lot of intention into your blocking animation. You can add like some VFX intention, like to really sell the idea, like that will be like you will be like this character will slam the ground and you will feel the power behind it. But mostly like you have to respect the gameplay constraint. So like you see like the character is going forward at every step, so you need to be sure that you're not like going too much like in terms of distance. You have to be sure that everything is set up from the combat designer behind it. And then you can go to the next step when everyone is happy with this blocking state. You can go to this path that is called splining. So for splining, like it's a lot about refining the first ID, like to iterate and to add more breakdowns to your animation, to like adding new information into it. Like I'm also like adding a back to idle at the end for the blue character because it was missing from the first iteration. And you can also like put camera intention just to like give more information for the team if they want to add like a camera animation to your animation. It's always like more interesting to have the camera like also like being animated. So this part is like a lot also like you will be talking also with the team, like what you need, like what we can push. And then like when everything is validate, you can go to the next step, that is the polish part. And polishing, it's a lot about just you animating until death, and you will see like what you can improve with the time you have. So and then you can just implement everything, because all of this, like it's like 3 paths, but in the end it's like a lot of iteration. Sometimes you will spend 20 iteration to find the best feeling and the best move for your character. So this one was a simple one because I already know what I wanted to do, and the team was okay since the beginning, so it's kind of easy to validate. But actually I got this one that is an animation I did for Prince of Persia. And you will see like it's a lot about finding the right move for the character, because at first like the guy was doing a scream, and then there was no scream, and then there was like finally like the right animation. So there was like kind of 3 iteration for the blocking state just to be validated from the team, because we really wanted to have something like powerful, like to concentrate the energy and like release everything. So you really need like to feel that in the animation. And from like the first part, it was just the guy, like, let's see, it's from there. So you already like start from the gameplay camera. And like this, it was the first iteration for this animation. It's not bad, but it's not the best, I would say. So, and sometimes you just have to be okay. We have like, you don't have to be precious about your animation work. Sometimes you just like doing some iteration and someone will say, yeah, okay, why not? But you can just try again, and maybe you will do like something better. So that's why I started again. And I did this one. It was really like jumping directly like this, but you don't really feel like the impact and the contrast behind the, like you're really like looking for power and like concentration. And that's why after that we really push it to be like this and like this. Like let's isolate that. So it's like focusing like on the character expression on the face. Like you have like the concentration on the fist, and then like he's like releasing like with a big, like a contrasting camera pose. Like the composition is really switching from 2 states. And then you have like the VFX team that can really push everything, and it's way better at the end. Let's see it from there. See, they had like all the VFX for the energy around the character, and the eye is doing like this little hint, like something is going on. And this animation was, sorry, like to not mention it before, but it was for like buffing the power of the character. So it was like to make it stronger. So I think it's on point. And same for this one. This one was kind of easier because everything was done. I found this cool idea of like giving like a knee kick on the face and really like pushing the arc of the movement, like we call it like the line of action. So the line of action is like using, you see like this line that you can see, like the character is like creating like a big arc, like a nice shape like this. And when you have like this kind of shape into your composition, it's like really like adding a lot of flow to your animation. It's creating something really like easy to read. And then you have like this big contrasting pose when you're like smashing the guy on the ground. So it's like really like breaking the flow, and it's adding like a lot of impact. And same here at the end, like you have like the VFX team like adding a lot of intention behind your animation. And you can also like spot like we call it like impact frame. So impact frame, it's like when you're like this, like it's like going to blue background to like red background with like a big impact VFX like this. It's like really like adding contrast and making everything more impactful. And same, I can show you like this one from Prince of Persia. That was the last animation I did for this project. Let me show you the entire video because it's a long one. This one, it's like you have like this boss battle, and the blue lady is like attacking you, so you are like parrying the attack. So you need to, like at the moment you parry the attack, like you will have these animation sequences of the player like will avoid the attack and show like he's like a skillful warrior. So for this one, it was like, I will show you like from the beginning. You have like this nice T-pose for the beginning until this point. Yeah, this point. So this is the blocking animation. This is the first pass. So it's already like, you already see the intention. You already see like the camera intention, because when you're like doing these big sequences, you have to do everything. You have to do the composition with two characters, with the camera behind also, like to be, because you see like when you start, let me draw a bit on top of Sync Sketch. You have like this composition with the character here and this one here. And then like you have like this nice continuity in the shot. So you have like two parts of the screen, like Sargon, like the player character is on this side, and I don't remember his name, but the boss is on this side. And then when you switch, like you still have the player character on the right side, but he's going to the left. And same, like you go like this, and he's like still going into this direction. So you have like this constant flow of the animation that you will follow with your eye, because if you break it, like it will not be like a good composition shot. And same link here, like he's like kicking with his leg, and then like you have like the follow-up action, like the character is going down, and like you have like this big impact. You follow it, and bam, with a nice kick in the end for back to idle. But you see, like you have like all these shots. It's not the final look, but you have like a lot of information, and you have a lot to share with your team. So it will open like also like the I think I don't know if it's the same. Let's see. For the splining pass, so it's a lot about adding more information and to play a lot with the timings, because the timing is like super important for this kind of dynamic shots. So we are here, and for this shot, like you already see like everything is not animated, like the sword here or like super straight, but at least you have like you can play with the character. You can already like start animating, adding breakdowns to your animation. But some of the shots are not needed. I think I remove these shots at the end, and this one also, like this one where it's like going down, I removed it on the final one, because when you see it like this, he's like kicking, and then he's directly like so every time I will iterate, like you see like 3 steps for these breakdowns, but I think I iterated like I don't know, like 30 times, because every day when you're doing like you're like splining, polishing, every day you're like finding something to work on. Maybe one day it will be on the boss, maybe a day it will be like on the player, but sometimes it's a bit both. It's like a lot of work working on these shots. I think it was like working 10 days for making this one, because in the end it's like 10-second animation with a lot of stuff going on with 2 characters. So it's a lot to take care. And yeah, that's it on the breakdown. I think I got everything. I talked about everything on my breakdown list. So maybe I can go like to Maya now and start to show you how to start an animation from scratch, and show a bit my workflow directly into Maya. So I will go there. So I wanted to show you like how to start an animation from scratch. So I choose like to animate this guy, Spider-Man. I already like put like an idle pose to start. And I wanted to also like show you like how to create an animation for combat animation using video references, because most of the time you will use it when you're like looking for doing something, especially if you're like starting animation. I think sometimes I'm doing like animation without video reference, but it's kind of hard even for me. Like I need like to have something just to be sure that the body mechanics behind is cool, and I'm respecting all the constraints from the body mechanics. So I can show you what I choose, because I already prepared something for this reference. So I found this cool guy doing like a nice acrobatic move that will fit Spider-Man. So it's like doing like a back jump. I would call it like a dodge. He's like dodging back. And the main point of doing this move in game combat, it's always cool like to have like a nice dodge in game. But I think it's even cooler when you add something at the end of a move like this. It's like doing an attack inside the dodge. So my idea was also like to take a reference from this game called Marvel vs. Capcom. This is a really cool game, by the way. And like just take this part, like let me isolate, like see this part of the Spider-Man like shooting webs with this cool. I really like this pose, so we will try to recreate this posing to shoot the web, and use also like this reference for like use it like to create like the first iteration of our animation. And for that, like I like to spot the most important key pose in this movement, because you already see like this guy is having like really nice shape, with his body. So we need to spot what is important in these movements. So I will already like show you what's important. So you have like the idle pose, and then he's going to like this anticipation pose to go back, like following this middle pose, like where he's like turning his body like this. And then like every time you spot like a contrasting pose that is like breaking a bit like the shape of the movement, you will already like have something moving, like, and with like I already like spotted like 12 frames, I think. And like this, you already have an animation, you see. So the important part is like really spotting these important key poses, and the first part of our animation will be like to recreate the same poses for Spider-Man from this pose. So like I will start now. So we have like this guy. We have I'm using Animbot like just to select all the keys. I've got also like hotkeys like to create poses very fast. So for example, like we have this idle pose, and we have like this guy. It's not the same idle pose, but we don't care about the idle pose because Spider-Man needs to have like his own pose, because you need to have like the best pose for your character. So Spider-Man needs to be in this pose to be more like a spidery guy, and to look like an agile. And because also like I didn't talk about that, but when you're creating something for a character, I like to create keywords for your character. Like you will always like when you talk about your character, you will always think about those words, because like Spider-Man, for example, you can say like he's agile, acrobatic, and spider. Like it will be like maybe 3 words, like maybe agile and acrobatic is the same. But we need this guy to be acrobatic and looks like a spider in terms of movement, maybe. But if you have like these pillars in mind, you will always like think about that when you're animating. It will shape the way you think and the way that you will behave when you're animating. So you will always think about that. And every time you are doing like a move or a transition, you will think, yeah, he's acrobatic, he's moving like a spider. So maybe I need to add that, and not to rely on this guy that is moving like a human guy. So he's like a regular man. He's just having cool skills for acrobatics. So yeah, like what we are like saying, it's like you can spot the idle pose, but you don't have to take it. And same for the next poses. You can sometimes take reference from it, but sometimes you can have like the creative process behind will be just like, yeah, take it, but you can move it a bit. If you have the best idea in mind, like just try it and it will be maybe better. So right now, like it's just about creating the same poses. So let's see, like we have like this first pose. So it's like going back from this pose to this pose, just doing like this. So let's have the guy and put the key around here, and then you can start like to shape the character and to look the same. The best workflow is to have like 2 screens like this. You can look at this one on the second screen and go back to your Maya scene quickly. But like this, we can really like push every pose to look kind of similar. And if you can push like more extreme poses or more like more acrobatic poses for Spider-Man, you can do it. And you can see it will take a while. So I will just do like one pose, I think, and I will go to the next file because I already saved the next iteration. So let's see. But every pose, like you really need just to take care of the poses and just to be sure that everything looks similar. So you see like left leg is really going this way. And I got this shortcuts we call it a selection set. So you can, like this one's called base move. So it will select all the controllers like to move your character quickly. And for now, like maybe for example, I will not select this one, but I can go like directly like this. It's going faster, like to have like this selection set. So yeah, it's a lot about finding cool poses and cool line of action, and always like not spending too much time sometimes on the first iteration, because you just want to see if the idea is cool and if everyone on the team will like it. So just to be sure that everything will look fancy enough to be validated, because video games, like we are always like want to go fast, and we are always late because we have a lot of animation to do. So let me just do one pose. You can play with the fingers, but I will never like play with the fingers on the first iteration. It's like just losing time. I always just like move like the 5 controllers, like pelvis, spine, head, and foot and hands. And I'm always like animating on IK because I'm used to it, and I think it's more easy to move than like moving like 3 FK controllers to have like a shape for your arm. So like this, are we like, it's really difficult because I don't have a second screen to show you. But let's say like I did all the posings, so I will jump into the next phase, and I will show you like the result. I will not save. So after like doing this pass, you will see something like this. So you have like the same idle pose, and I did like this one. So this one is the pose that we see here. This one is this one, and etc., etc. And then you have something like this. So this one is like the first iteration for our animation. You see like he's like dodging back and having this cool pose that we talked about from the Marvel vs. Capcom game, like a very pushed pose like this, like a cool shape for your character. Yeah, and also like the idea for this animation was to do like an animation for a 2D game. So like every poses that I will shape, it will be seen from this view, like this. So that's very important because in game animation, like the camera is super important, because the player like will see your character from this point of view, and sometimes like some shapes or some silhouettes will not work on every angle. But if you can move like from every angle, you need to be sure that your pose is the best. Like for now, I will just do like something to look cool in 2D, and we will see like later like some other stuff with camera. So like this, we have like this cool animation in stepped. We call it stepped animation. So we have like all these keyframe to fill, because between like this frame and this frame, like there is like 20 frames of emptiness. So you need to find a way like to transition between this and this. And for that, I like to stay in stepped animation for this part of the animation, because I don't like to go in spline too soon. So splining is like let the computer like doing this breakdown between 2 keyframes. And if you let the computer do like the work, like it will create like some linear transition, and it will be boring in the end. So I like to really like push every breakdown between, like, for example, if I go like from this to this, I will create like something in between that will be something from me and not something from the computer. Like, I like to push these breakdowns to really like bring, like, really like think about it and think about what will be like the transition between two states. And sometimes it can be like something really interesting, especially like if you go like Spider-Man like this jumping. And like if you still go to your reference, you will see like if you go like from this to this, like you have like this, like the foot is going like a bit up like during this process. So it's something you have to take, like you can add it to your animation, add a breakdown here. And same, the arm is like doing his nice arc like this from this pose to this pose. And like he's doing like a nice arc like this. And you can see the same for between this pose and this pose, like this. This arm is also like doing a nice arc like this into this direction. But if I let the computer do like this, it would create, like I can show you like quickly, if I select everything and like select all my keys and I go spline, it will create something like this. Ooh, like you see like this linear movements. You need to create something in the middle just to be sure that your arm will do like what you exactly want to do. That's also because I'm using IK, but it's kind of the same for the pelvis. Like you want the pelvis for this frame to go up. So you will add this breakdown of having the character going up. So you have already like something better in terms of body mechanics. And same for the rest of the body. So my job now, like during this iteration, is like to, I will call it like a blocking plus. So I will add more keyframe in between each key pose to look more like detailed, to have more information in between each, to go like same here. Like if you go like from this pose to this pose, you want like the middle pose to be with a nice arc for the arm. So we'll go like this. Same, like you need to move everything, like you move shoulders, you need to move both arms because this one is like doing in the middle. So you need to add more information, not let the computer like do your work because he's really bad at animation. And you are the animator. So like let's add it, and then you already have something more interesting. And same here, like if we go from there to there or there to there, you will add a breakdown in between and start to shape your, we call it arcs, like the arc of the hand needs to be appealing, interesting, because everything moves into arcs. And it's same for the legs. You will start like to add breakdowns on your foot because everything needs to be like planted on the ground. So you will maybe start to have something like this. Maybe it needs to be planted on the ground sooner. And then if you do everything like to look better, I will open the next path, that is the blocking plus file. And you will look like everything is more detailed, everything is more appealing. And we can also like work on the poses to be like more like having nice line of action, to have like nice shapes, to really work the silhouette of the character, like to look really appealing. So now we have like this, like it's more like more detailed. You are like before, like I think I added like maybe 15 frames, and now we have like I don't know, like I don't know how many there are, but maybe like 30 or 40 frames, like 40 key poses. So every key pose is important on this blocking plus, and it will be really important to keep those poses during the process. It will be like the foundation of your animation. It will be also like we always need to work the big picture of your animation, to not go too much into detail into this phase, because right now we are still like shaping the animation. We are still like looking at what will be our animation, but we can already see that this spider guy like is like doing like this dodge back, taking like this pose, like here, like he's like shooting, and then he's like pulling the enemy, because like this guy here like will be our enemy. And I put this guy here like for a reason, because when you're doing game animation, you always need like to put the context in your animation. So where your character is, what he's doing, is he in a fight, is he happy, like does he want to fight? Maybe like Spider-Man is always like into a fight. So you need to put like a ground, you need to put a light, you need to put a character like for your enemy. And like this, everything will look like more easy to understand for your mindset. And you can even put like a real character like facing the player character. So you see like it's really important during this phase like to add more detail, and also like to still talk with the combat designers if they need something specifically. But for now, like it's more about like adding more detail. And I also like added like some hand shape, like with fingers, like to look interesting, because I think Spider-Man is shooting webs like this. And also like the cool part of doing blocking plus, it's like you starting to think about the body mechanics behind. So when you see like something like this, like you see like, especially like for the, let's go like this, for the shooting, like he's like into this kind of a idle pose here, and he's like doing anticipation here. And then what's happening, it's like it's the important part of this action is like what is leading the motion during the attack, because like you see like the body is like going forward, but it is like the spine is doing the job here. Like it's like going first, and then it's the arm like taking like the second part of the action. But first, like it's like body first, and then arm. And then you see like the recoil on the hand like this. It's like having like a bit of force to the movement. And then it's the same for the pull. Like it's like the spine is pulling first, and then the hand, but the arm like is like pulling. So it's like always like this in body mechanics. Like you have to find what's the force behind your movement and what's leading. You can really like also like analyze your reference when you look at this. Like see like how this leg is like leading the movement. He's like throwing like the leg just to spin in the air, and then you will have like this leg like follow the action. So you have always like something leading and something following. And for this part, it's really important because it's a lot of important information for the body mechanics. And you have to spot those important informations. It's quite hard to understand sometimes, but I will show you. Like for this one, it's quite obvious. Like you see, like the pulling, like the pelvis is like just turning from this pose to this pose, but like the spine is really pushing behind. So you see, like it's leading the movement, and the arm is like still on the same direction, and now it's like pulling with the arm. And that's how you're like like analyzing the movement, and you will also like learn how to animate like this. And sometimes you don't even know, like you don't even need like to look at video reference. Like, you know that, yeah, when you pull, you need to pull first with the body and then with the arm. So you have more strength to do this kind of move. And then it's like going back to idle with the same pose than the beginning. So yeah, the blocking plus, it's like a cool part, I think, because you're already like shaping the movement and really like thinking about everything that you need. And you see, like, I'm not even in spline, so I'm just adding a lot of keyframes. And at the end, like, you see like my timeline, yeah, like it's like full of keyframe now. So that's why if you can put like more information, you can, like, especially like for the arms and the legs, because you have like these big arcs during this movement. It's really important like to have the same flow than the reference. Like, you see, like, if I track the leg, like let's track like the tip of the foot. Like, it's always like having like something like, if I track everything like will look like a big arc like this, and you will have like a keyframe like this, and it will be like super appealing in the air, like to have this kind of move. And same for the following leg, is like also like doing nice arc like this, and same with the like this arm. But you can also like track the head, and the head will also like do like a nice arc. So that's why you will sometimes see something really appealing in animation, because the animation is really following the arcs of natural movements, and everything is doing arcs in real life. So you need to spot that and really keep the flow, I would say. So yeah, I will go like to the next phase, because I think I talked everything about blocking plus. So you have all these poses and the shooting, and then like for the next part, I will add a camera to my animation. So for creating a camera, you will create something here. You will add a new, where is my camera? This one. This one, yeah. Where is it? And you need like to create your composition, because if you're doing like a 2D game, you need to create like the same vibes and same feeling than the game. And it's always useful to work like the game, to be like aware of the context of the game. So we have like this guy, and we are like having this camera like this. Like, if you are supposing like it's a 2D game, maybe a 2D action game, and you are following the action. So the guy, like, maybe we need to see also like the enemy on the screen, because there is no point. So yeah, you're like seeing the enemy on the screen on Spider-Man. So you're following the timeline, and your character is going back. So maybe you need to go back. So you are following the action. We'll put a key, and then you have this action, but same. I will spot, and then you will see like maybe my enemy is too far, so I need to put it like closer. So let's put him like maybe here, and I will go back to my camera and readjust the composition, and do the same. Like he's going back, so the camera is like panning out like this. You zoom out, and then you shoot, and then if he pulls the enemy closer, like it will be like this maybe. And then I will copy this key here, and we have this. I will jump to the next file, like just to show you like the end result with the camera and the VFX I added, because I added like a web for the shooting, and I added like some more interesting camera animation, because I'm just going fast to show you the process. So you have like this result when you're like animating with like the web and the camera. So he's like jumping back and throwing the web and like catching the guy. And I think like for this pass, it was only about adding your camera, adding some VFX, because also like adding VFX, if you don't have any VFX for your animation, it's always like hard to understand sometimes. So I also like love to put some groundbreaking rocks, or like I can show you on the, like you can see on this blocking states, where we can see like some ground effect. If we can see that, like this one, yeah. You're just adding like more context, like that your weapon is very heavy and you can slam the ground, and it will also like it will be like a cool information for the team or the VFX team. Like, yeah, you're like seeing like something in your mind. It's like having a big area of effect like this, like, and like with like some ground effect like this, your team will know, like, yeah, if you add like some ground effect, it will be cool, because if you don't have it, like it will maybe lack of impact. So yeah, and same like the VFX, like I didn't talk about it from this one, but on the Prince of Persia, like also like adding impact frames into your play blast, just to show the team that what's can be improved in terms of VFX, like just to have like this cool impact frames, like it's adding a bit more forces. And in the end, when you see it in game, like you see like this, bam, you see it, like it's really cool having this kind of impact frames, just like in Japanese animation. So like it's like a big oomph to the animation, and you can even have like more frames to it, to just to animate your impact frames. So yeah, it's really important to have this kind of VFX on your process, just to be aware of where you can push and where you can shape your animation to be more powerful. So yeah, I think next phase it will be like splining. So now that I got like the camera and the character animation in Blocking Plus, I will just take all the keys and I will go to the graph editor. Because as you can see, I'm never using the graph editor. I'm just using it like for adding a step or spline. So I spline everything, and then you have like this. You see like the animation looks bad, but you need to, like, this is the point of where you need to improve your animation. You can move the timings, you can move the, like, really improve your arcs and improve the posings. This is like kind of the part of the process of the where the animator is kind of depressed, because you work so many hours and you see that and you say, hey, okay, like I need still a lot of hours to finish that. Because blocking is quite easy in terms, and quite fun also, like, because it's quite the creative process. And the splining is more about like, yeah, I need to push that to the next level. So at this point, it's all about like looking at every body parts and see what you can improve. So what I like to do for the splining, it's just to take something like, you always start by the root of the character, that is the pelvis. And I will use like this tool in Animbot called Motion Trail. And it will show you like the trail of your controller. Like it will show you like what is the path in space. And as I said before, like the important part of every body parts is to make cool arcs. So like you can see right here, like you have like these arcs, but on this side, like it's like having like this not really like appealing arc. So maybe like I will like push to have like an arc, like it will be like more like this. And same here, like you see like pushing the to be like a more appealing arcs. And I will do that for every part of the animation. Like I will start with the pelvis, and you see like on this side, like it's just pushing and really like pushing every body parts to have like a nice and appealing arcs. And every time you see something weird in terms of interaction with the rest, like you see like he's like eating a wall with the pelvis right now, like he's not moving forward after this frame, and it feels very weird. And even sometimes you can delete frames, so I'm deleting this one because it's not useful, because everything was in blocking, like you put a frame on, I'm putting a frame on every body part, so sometimes it's not very used anymore. You can really like disconnect everything, because every body part needs to be more independent. So right now I'm just disconnecting like pelvis from the rest of the body, like it will go like more forward, and I will continue like this, like I will go like this and see what will be the next move. And same here, like you have like this weird arc going like this, so maybe you will go like this, and like we'll go like deeper in terms of poses. And I will go like for each body part. If I take like this arm, for example, and I go like, oh yeah, like it's a good example, because like you have like this pose, like this extended arms, and you have like this arm like going from this pose to here, like it's weird. You have like a weird. So I will start to shape the transition between like this pose to this pose. You need to find a cool way like to extend your arm. So I will try to shape it. And you see, like since I already like on the blocking plus, I was already like putting keyframe on everything. Like I already have like nice, like everything is set up on the keys. So I only need like to shape the arm like to look more appealing during the. So I will already like shape it like to be like having more like the shoulder will be leading the movements, and like this everything will look better. And I already like I'm like using like the bendy controllers on the arm, like to have like this kind of we call it like smear frames. It's like you can really like bend the arms or the legs or the body just to follow the line of action, and just have like this nice feeling of the speed. Like you will feel the speed with this kind of effect. You can remove the motion trail, and you see like it's already more interesting to have like this kind of move for the arm. So I will go to the next phase, that is the splining, because time is going fast. And I will show you where am I at the splining state. So this is a splining part of the animation. So you see like I already like clean a lot of the arcs. Like you can really see like the following, like let's see closer, like this arm is doing like this crazy bendy movement just to release like the web. Like it's like shlook. You will really feel like just to have like this nice leading with the upper body, and then like you have like the arm is like overlapping a lot just to release as a last moment. And you can really like play with the recoil. We call it the recoil of the hand. Like the hand is like going forward and backwards, just to have like the nice a nice recoil to it. And you can see like the left arm is also like following the action, but it's like you see like it's still like having like weird motions to it. But that will be like the next part. It will be like polishing the animation and adding still like all these information to your character, like still like this arm like is doing weird stuff, maybe because I didn't spend too much time on this arm because it was like a secondary part of the animation. So it's like doing, see like weird arc like this. It's like angular and not like circular or like, and I need it like to be more like a cool arc. So let's add a key in between, just like add more information to it. And right now it's just like adding information because I already got my foundation from my Blocking Plus. It's all about just make it more easy to read and nice to follow. And it's always like nice to have this kind of nice shape. So now you see this shape is like already better. And same here, like there is like something going on. Maybe I will add something like this and see like the arc of the hand is like already like more interesting and smoother. And then you will also like need to, let's remove the motion trail because it's lagging a bit. And always like go back to your camera view because on your game it will look like this. So always like go back to this camera, and even you can work on this camera view because if everything looks from this point of view, like you need to check if everything is readable because each pose is important for the player. Like you really need to feel that Spider-Man is shooting something. You really need like to think what he's doing. It's really important like to have like these beats in animation. Like you really need like to feel like something, like he's jumping, then he's like shooting, then he's going back to idle. Everything needs to be readable for the player. Like this, you can follow what's going on. If you're going like into like too many action in the same time, you will lose track of what's going on and it will be like a bad game animation. So right now, I think it's quite clear, like he's like jumping back and then shoot and like pull. So I can go like to the final polish file. Like this, you can see like the final result. And I will talk about something else. And still like during this process of polishing, you can still polish your poses and make it more interesting. So we are like this. I also like added like this background that is more flat, easy to read. And then like you see like you have like nice arcs and nice and fluid animation. I also like I added like a new camera like to just show you like how weird it can be like from a different perspective, because like this we are like a 2D camera view, but I also like did a 3D, like a third person camera view like this. And you can see like I tried like to do like the same kind of animation from this point of view, but you're already like seeing some weird stuff going on because you see like the idle pose already is not really like readable in terms of shape. You see like the arm here like is like on the same spot that the head. You really don't read like where is his head, where is his arms, so it's not clear enough. And from our first camera view, it was really clear. So this is really important to put your camera very soon, because if you have something like this for a third-person game view, like it will be bad. For the rest, like it looks kind of okay, because like this kind of pose, like it kind of works. But you really need like to change this idle pose, I think, if you're going to like a third-person view. And same for the, I also like tried a kind of the same camera than No Rest for the Wicked for this one. And we have kind of the same problem. Like the idle pose is not very clear in terms of silhouette. Like you can not really like see where is the, like you see like the leg and the arm is like quite in the same spot. So maybe we need to change it. But you need like to see from every angle, because in this kind of game you can turn your character. But this is the kind of constraint that you have to think when you are animating, to really like think about the player, because it will be the end result for a game. Like everything will be very fast in the game. You will have enemies, you will have the player with the skills and the VFX on top and the environment around. So if your animation is not clear enough, if you don't follow these beats in your animation, it will not be like so easy to read. And that's why in No Rest for the Wicked, I think it's always important like to just think about, see like in game, I will show you, like you see like there is a lot of stuff around. So every time the character is like pushing an attack, you will really feel it. And that's what is important in game, to really feel the game, and to really like, you don't need like to have like sound effect in the end. You have to feel like the impact of the sword. Like you really need to push it, and you can push it with like also like camera shake. I think I did a lot. I think I did like a quick camera shake. You see, like when I'm shooting the web, you see, like you feel something like go like a smooth camera shake for this, but I can really like push it a bit more. And yeah, this is kind of the way of animating a game animation. Also, like I want to talk about another way of doing this, because right now I just follow like simple way of doing an animation, like just use a video reference and just using like a quick process, because this animation is okay. I think like is kind of simple, I guess, because it's like a Spider-Man dodge back and shooting web. But if you want to be more unique and more interesting in terms of animation, you really need to push yourself to be to not choose the first idea when you're making an animation. You really need to brainstorm and think about what is the best idea for this guy. Like what will be like the best example of dodging back and shooting like your enemy. Like, and I did like another example, like more crazy in terms of animation, and also like in terms of scope, because I took more time to do like the one you will see. So we'll show you what this is about. Let's see. Where is it? So this is the animation I did before. So this is another way of dodging back and shooting webs. And I think it's more Spider-Man than the simple one I did before. And that's the point of what I'm saying. Like you can use sometimes like the simplest idea. Sometimes you have to keep it simple, but sometimes for some of the animation you are doing for your game, you have to push like the scope for one animation, like to look crazy, like to look like really awesome. And I think like if you push like this dodge back with like 3 shooting webs in the air, like with like a backflip, I think that's where you're like really like pushing like the uniqueness of game animation, like just not only like doing the easiest solution, but like the more like the craziness behind it, I think. So you can find like some cool example of smear frames. I'm also like using like motion trail for the leg kick, and see like everything looks quite squash and stretch for this guy. See like I love like this kind of like how he's like shooting web between his legs. Another one, and then third one, and like he's going back to idle. So yeah, that's it. I think I've said everything I was to. Everything is yeah. I'm over with the presentation, I would say. And if we can go to the next Q&A, if you have question about the process, about what you saw, let me know. Like, and
Oh
we
yeah,
can
we
talk
have a
about it.
lot of questions, Arthur. This is an awesome presentation. Thank you. It's very, very
Oh,
impressive. Really cool. Yeah, really cool work. So I gathered some of the questions. There's a lot of them. Hopefully, we can get to all of them. But why don't we get started? The first one is how much of your final work gets cut up due to the constraints of the animation blending systems and the needs of the gameplay and design. So I think this talks about like the time that you have to do an animation and how much freedom you have to extend it or contract it.
so the question is like, how much time I got for animating something, and how
More
much
than the time
freedom?
that you have, more than the time that you spend, more like the time in within the animation. Like how much, like let's say that you do an animation on like 400 frames. How much of that animation gets cut for blending? And as a side question, how much freedom you have to extend that or contract that time?
Yeah, like sometimes during game production, you have like this constant like iteration process. It will be like from the animation department, because your lead animator will also like cut some of your work, or like tell you like to like redo something from scratch, or like sometimes it can be like also like the game design department like it will ask you for something different because the first idea was cool, but when they implement it, sometimes it's just not work in game, and you just need like to propose something else, like a new proposition for the animation. And but I don't know, like it's not like a obvious question. I think it's just like depends on the game. It depends on like for me, like it's quite easy because since I'm animating for like 15 years now, I know how everything works and how like departments behave, like in terms of constraints. So I know what they expect, and I know what to do, like in general. So that's why most of the time the first iteration is quite okay and it's validated, but it happens. It's always happened. Like you always like some cuts on some like I already like did one last week. I spent like maybe like I don't know 4 or 5 days animating something, and the move was not good enough. Like it was not working in terms of mechanics from the combat design point of view. So I need like to like remove half of the animation and do like something else just to be more straightforward and more dynamic in terms of the approach behind. So yeah, it's always like a challenge, I would say, because sometimes how to animate, but sometimes you don't know how it will behave in game. So you just need to learn and to yeah, it's just like a learning process of all the departments behind.
Very interesting. Yeah, no, I hear you. It's always a strange balance, right? Like how much you can do as an artist with the restrictions that the game applies.
Yeah, and some people are very aware of this kind of constraint because sometimes for example, when I was at Spider's game, I was also a rigger, so I know how to rig the character. So, but I was also the animator. So if you do this like both thing in the production, like it's way easier like to rig your character, because you know it will be you, like it will be you like animating the character. So everything is easy, and it's like a lot, yeah, more like it's way simple.
Understand.
Yes.
Let me try to do something, Arthur. I think that, and you said you're done with the presentation, right? So we can potentially hide this,
Oh
and then
yeah, let's go
okay,
back to
perfect.
my face.
Yeah, that way it's much easier to see you and hear you, and it's much easier.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
You can see my
Okay.
office.
Um, Obviously you have some really cool animations, man. You showed a lot of really cool work, especially the weapon attacks that you showed at the beginning, followed up with the presentation with Spider-Man. So there were a lot of questions about how you come up with these moves. Like, what is the process, the brainstorming process on which you build these ideas?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I don't even know myself. But I think I got like like I think it's come from my background, I think, because since I'm a kid I was watching a lot of movies and reading a lot of comic books. Like, see, behind, like, I got a lot of Spider-Man comic books, a lot of mangas from like Dragon Ball Z, or I don't know, like, just reading a lot of stuff that it's not about combat and fighting and stuff like this. And I think it's just like unconscious, like having like all these poses in my mind and watching all these Jackie Chan movies when I was young. Just like you have like all this library in your head, and you're like, I'm full of things like this. And every time I will fight with my kids, I will just take like some cool poses, and they will do the same. So I think it's like the inspiration that you will have like from what you learn during your animation journey. But also, like, I did like a lot of games related to combat. So that's why also, like, you're like every motion capture shootings I did with like armor, what do you say, like all these stuntmen, like, they are really strong into martial arts, and they are showing you like all these moves that you can do. And I watched, like, I don't know, like for 15 years I watched a lot of people doing this kind of moves. So I think it's just like an unconscious way of having this in your mind. And it's a lot about also like brainstorming with your team, because I always love, like, when I start something, I just love like to throw everything to my teammates, like, just, yeah, I think about that, I know like this reference from this game. And then they will do the same, they will like giving me a link to like this guy from this game, like, you have this boss doing this move, like, what do you think? And it's like mixing all together and make it work and make it shine like this. And sometimes it's just not about me, like sometimes it's just like combat designer, like showing me like a reference from a game that he loves, and me, I will just took like something from it and I will mix with my background and it will make something good. So yeah, it's a kind of a mix. I think it's a lot about sharing and mixing with your background, I would say.
Do you use thumbnailing in one way, or do you go directly from taking the input of reference or taking the idea? Do you go directly into
Yeah, like you saw like before, like I'm just taking the video and I'm just starting in my character animation in Maya, like just like like just sculpting some shapes and just moving like the principal controllers of the character. Just sometimes I'm just adding a spin to it, and maybe it's, I know that it will look cool in the end because I already like see the direction of it. So it's kind of like yeah, like just having a vision behind the move. And yeah, I think it's because I did a lot of combo animation in my life, and then it's just natural to just doing a lot. Just lately I'm just doing like 3 combo a week with no rest for the weekend. So I'm just like full of combo and just throwing like spins and backflip and magic stuff, spells. So yeah.
It's great to hear that. We often tell students and aspiring animators that animation doesn't happen in front of the computer. Animation doesn't happen when you're in front of the computer, right? Animation happens when you're taking all the input and you're building all those ideas. Then you use the computer as a tool to execute them, right? But those ideas, you have to find a way to capture them, whether it is, like you said, from inspiration from already having observed a lot of Jackie Chan movies, anime, comic books with already the poses that you're looking for and applying them, right?
Yeah. Like just get up of your chair and go for a walk. Sometimes you just need like to take some air, and your brain will work on the background, like saying you something. Like lately, I was on my car, like driving, and I was like, yeah, I can do that for this animation for the end. I think it would be cool, and just you keep it on your mind, and then like I was go back home, like just adding the end of my animation that I was struggling like all day, like, oh, what can I do? And sometimes I'm just going like in my garden, like just making some kicks in the air to look like them. But it's
Well,
just so
I'll tell you, man. Just looking at your animations, you make it look like it's easy. You make it look very
yeah.
natural,
But
like
I'm
it's.
really bad at fighting in real life.
That's awesome. Let me see. Oh, there was a lot of interest also on the really cool VFX that you add to your animations. So I'm going to
Oh
try
yeah.
to condense a lot of the questions that were about VFX, and chat. Please let me know if I missed anything. Like, write your question so I can go back to it. But first, it was, how do you make them? How do you start by making those VFX? Are they just polygons that you apply a quick texture, or what's your process?
Yeah, most of the VFX I'm using in my software is like I've created those like many years ago because I needed like to add like some impact on the ground, and I did like this ground effect like with rocks like exploding, and I think it was like maybe 10 years ago I did that. And now every time I need like an impact on the ground, I'm just importing this asset, and I will just like add it to my animation. It's like a nice like visual impact to my animation. So it's just like I've just got like a library like this with sparks, ground effects, laser beam, like this kind of stuff that really easy to import to your animation. And like this, I don't need to do it again. And like this, you really need to. You can even share it with your team. Like the animators at Moon, like they are all using my ground effect for each animation because we're always like slamming the ground in this game. So it's really like a nice way of adding your like it's like creating like a library of VFX, and it's just like yeah, like you just need to spend maybe a 1 hour one time in your life, and then you will have this for forever. So
No, it's very smart. It's like creating libraries of different lights, like libraries of like even hand
yeah,
poses, to use in
yeah,
your
same
animation.
for like the like you see like in the Spider-Man. I add like this background like for having like a flat background. Do not have like this weird ground just with like a gray sky, like it's weird. So it just add like in the photo shooting, like in real life, you have like this background with like a nice smooth like a transition between wall and ground.
Yeah.
So it's
How do you
like
call
having
those in
like
French? I always forget the name in English. So if you guys know it in chat, let me know. In Spanish, we call them ciclorama. What's the name in French? I'm curious.
I don't know.
But yeah, okay, awesome. So I also continuing with VFX. Do you normally give notes to the VFX team, or does the VFX team take your notes and amplifies them? What is the communication like between you and the effects team, or even the game director
Yeah,
regarding
depends.
effects?
I think it's like a quite obvious when you share an animation with a VFX. Like if you see like a ground effect, especially if you have like this swirl like scratching the ground, and you have like this nice ground like jumping from the ground. Like it's already like the team will see it and it's say like, yeah, okay, like let's add something like this. But sometimes it just adds more work to the team, so maybe it will not be on the next iteration, but sometimes it's needed like just to give feedback on the animation side, because as animators we know how to animate some VFX, like maybe like laser beam, like you have like this nice ball of energy and then big impulse, like. But like VFX artists are good animators in general, like they know how to like animate this kind of VFX. But yeah, like in general, it's more like a back and forth, but it's more like every time you finish an animation, it will go to VFX. So in the end, you will maybe wait a few months before you will see something from the VFX team because they are working on something else. But you can still like giving them feedback, and they are very very open to it. So it's a very smooth process between VFX and animation because it's always like a layer on top of your animation.
Yeah, absolutely. It obviously enhances the action. I mean, and if they see that when you give them
Yeah, like for Prince of Persia, like adding these impact frames at these specific moments, just like because of me, it was really like intentional, like to put like, yeah, I want this bit in the animation like to be like the strongest. So we need like adding like these super intense impact frames.
oh, that looks fantastic, and it really creates an image on your brain when you see it
Yeah,
that
because
stays there through the animation,
like
right?
the
So
more contrast you add to your impact, and the more powerful it will be. Like if you have like a big contrast on your pose, big contrast on the camera shake, big contrast on the colors, everything will add like will push everything to the maximum. So that's what it's like interesting like to know these tricks like
fantastic. A few more quick questions. Some people were very observant and they noticed that you're animating in 60 frames per second. So there's the big debate. Do you animate on 60? Do you animate on 30? What's the situation? Is it per project? What are your thoughts?
I'm animating in 60 because lately I'm only animating in 60. It's becoming an habit in game productions because we have like this high FPS in games now because our machines are way like they are more powerful than before, so we can really like push this smoothness, like the smoothness of the animation. It's obviously like it's more work because you have more frame to animate. So sometimes like for having like this smears effect, you need to push it like for more frames. So it's adding more work. But sometimes I'm animating in 30 FPS, sometimes in 60. It depends on the project, on what the team is aiming for in terms of speed. But like 60 is just like more fluid in the end. So I like it. Like I think it's been like 4 years since I switched between 60, no, between 30 and 60, and I really liked it because it's really like having like especially like for No Rest for the Wicked, like you see like everything is so fluid. Like you really spend a lot of time making everything looks like fluid and smooth like this.
I
But
remember
there
we
is
on a project we went on to 60 because we were having problems animating on 30 that sometimes on would get 360 flips.
hmm,
So we would only
yeah,
be able
yeah.
to do it on
Like you can
60.
adapt. But like I think the constraint is like if you animate in 30 FPS and your game is running at 60, you have like this kind of problem. Like the engine will do like the transition, like the transition between the 30 and 60. So it's like letting the computer making the work for you. Like I said, like I'm never letting the computer like make the animation. I will always like put the intention behind. And if you like let the computer like put like these linear keys in between, like it will not be good in the end.
Absolutely. We have to start wrapping up. Sorry if you guys have questions, definitely keep them written here. We'll try to get to them at some point. But I guess the last question is any tool. We noticed that you're using Animbot and you're using SyncSketch, both tools that are great for animators. Are there any other tools like which tools were you using, for example, to store the selections on the bottom, or all any tools that you feel agilize, make your work a lot faster, your process a lot faster?
Yeah, I'm just yeah using basic like tool from Maya in the end. Like from Animbot, I'm especially using the selection sets and the motion trail, and sometimes the temp control. Like you can really like change the hierarchy of some like putting something in world constraints or using the how is it called a temp pivot. Like you will change the pivot or some object. Sometimes I'm just taking like all the base move of the character, and I will change the pivot, like just to have like a nice way of pivoting the character from a different point. So it's very useful, but yeah, nothing really fancy. Like I think I got. Oh yeah, sometimes I'm using overlapper, like it's a tool like to overlap some of the body parts to like automatically, so it's just easy like on some I don't know, like hairs, or like if you have like a tail, something like. But it's like it's also like a kind of a trap for some animators, like to click on overlapper, and yeah, it's like smooth and cool, but you have to first like add some intention to your like some secondary action, some nice movement at first, and then you use overlapper like to look like on top, like to be like the best motion that you will have. Because
Wait, you're telling me that there's no button like animate automatically that you can like, do at the beginning? Man, I thought this was gonna be easy.
I will not share it with you. No.
Arthur, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for the presentation. Again, this was a treat. Hopefully we'll have you here again, because this was pretty awesome. This is my type of presentation. I love the event. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Guys, as we wrap up, please join me into thanking Arthur for sharing his time and expertise with us. This was an incredible presentation, and we're going to be looking after these games, right? The games are not done yet, right? The games are coming out soon.
Yeah, we have no rest for the weekend, like coming, but the next update will be next month, the 30th of April, and it will be like a big update for us. Like it's like we put like a lot of arts, and it will be like I think we will be super proud like to see it finally out. And yeah, like I will see like what's coming next, but I will keep you updated. Like if you follow me on the social media, I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, on Twitter, on Blue Sky. Like just put my name, and you will find me. And I'm always like sharing news every week about my project, on my mindset. Sometimes just putting some tricks. And yeah, I hope like you will like it. And thank you for the invitation. Like it was nice to show my process on my work. So it's always a pleasure like to share and to be there for everyone. Like always like open to respond to my message on LinkedIn and everything, to help people just if they have some questions. So.
Sounds good, man. We'll definitely try to get you back, see if we can get some of the unanswered questions answered. But again, thank you. We're going to be looking after your animations. We're going to look after your games. So again, thank you for coming. Thank you for giving this presentation. And I want to also thank our sponsors, Dell and NVIDIA, and thank all of you at home for watching. We'll be back in April with more industry events. Next one up will be on April 9th with Machine Games Talking, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So stay tuned for that one. It's going to be great. Until then, if you want to find out about how Gnomon can help you on your artistic journey, connect with us at gnomon.edu. Thanks again for joining us. Goodbye, everyone. See you guys around.
See you.